Good afternoon, everybody. It's the Lummy Sports Show. Obviously, you don't hear our normal introduction with Brian the Babyface, and it looks like currently the Filthy and I are sitting elbow to elbow right now. We look like we are literally hugging up on each other. What's up, the Filthy?
What's up, buddy?
Let me turn you up a little bit. Bubba has had mic 3 down a little bit. There we go. I know everyone that's a big Brian fan is probably disappointed turning on and just seeing me and the beautiful Rhett.
I mean, listen, Lummy, I don't want to sell ourselves short here, but I'm curious as to how good this show can actually be. I mean, we're missing our star.
Yeah, we are missing.
It's like the Bucks trying to play a game this week without Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I wouldn't say Tom Brady yet for babyface. I mean, it'd be like if we're missing our...
we're missing our Aaron Rodgers.
No, we're missing our Jameis Winston.
Oh.
And we got Andy Dalton taking his spot, like on the Saints.
Yeah, no kidding.
But don't worry. We have a Blaine Gabbert that might be filling in for him because you know how much Blaine Gabbert Brian loves.
The organization, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers love Blaine Gabbert. Everybody around the team loves Blaine Gabbert.
Except
and I think
for Brian.
I think the same could be said about this potential guest we have here.
I mean, but don't worry, because, hold on. I mean, we can't replace Babyface, but we do have a great star in the show. He knows so much about sports. He is probably one of the most knowledgeable, I'd say, sports analysts there are in today.
I'd agree.
That no one knows about.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I'm going to give him a call right now, see if we can get this mega superstar on the air. Let's see here. Oh,
hopefully he cleared his schedule. I know he's got a lot going on this week, running around to meetings.
Oh, yeah, he's super busy, I'm sure. I don't think he's at Disney today, unfortunately. Let's see here. I'm supposed to pod this down so no one can get his number, even though you probably would want that out there. Let's see. Let's see if he's on standby. You think he's actually listening?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, let me mute my TV. One sec.
Did we just get put on hold by our superstar guest?
We did.
Wow, we just got dropped out, man.
All
Brian
right.
was here. Oh, hey, everybody. Hey,
I'm sorry.
Is this Decap?
This is.
Hey, Decap. Welcome to the Lummy Sports Show. Minus Brian with the filthy Rhett kicker. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, just another day in paradise.
So are you at Disney currently or MGM or Epcot?
No, I'm sitting in my bedroom in my bed. I was working, watching the news.
Working from home?
Yeah.
What do you do exactly, Decap?
Customer service.
Oh, okay. Now, do you talk on the phone when you do customer service?
No, I just basically like chat, like texting with people through the computer.
Okay.
When I first started, I was getting yelled at by people, but I didn't really deal with the angry customers. I dealt more with people who needed to get their documents in.
Oh, so they didn't have you cold. They didn't just have you cold calling motherfuckers, right? Because I mean,
no, it was people calling in.
Yeah, that'll get you yelled at.
Yeah.
So, Decap, how have you been doing since the last time we talked to you?
Oh.
Anything new?
With me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was in a car accident in December. Remember the blue car that I bought when I was with you guys?
Yeah, that really expensive. Yeah.
December.
That really expensive.
I'm pretty sure it was the one you peeled out in.
Yes, it was the one when Bubba told you to leave and never come back. You humpback fucking whale. I think that was the one you said you peeled out and said, "Lummy, get me my clips."
Yeah.
Yeah. So you wrecked that one?
One's gone. That one's gone.
So you wrecked that one. So now what do you got?
The old gold one is back. But I did some upgrades to it. Hold on. The radio.
Would you have it just? I mean, sitting out back?
Yeah.
I gave it to my dad, but he gave it back to me.
Oh,
that was nice of your dad. Well, it's 813-90-BUBBA. Once Decap. I mean, we may be able to pot up 2 calls at the same time, but yeah. So Decap,
not to dive too deep into your personal life, and not to step over you here, Lummy. I'm just curious.
Oh no, go for it.
So when was that most recent accident you had?
And then there was another one in April. I was in Tampa going to Hogan's to watch WrestleMania, and I was sitting at a red light, and someone drove into the back of my car.
And that was in April.
Yeah.
And that was the most recent one?
Yeah.
Okay, because here I was under the impression that you're just getting in fucking car accidents every 2-3 months.
Yeah, I'm not looking. I wasn't trying.
How do you have insurance, by the way? How do you have insurance?
It's like $3,000. I mean,
yours is?
Yeah, for the year.
Oh, well, you pay for the year then. So I mean, that's about an average
I pay
price.
A monthly.
Well, how much do you pay a month then, Superstar?
Like 600.
I don't know how, but
that math ain't mathing.
Yeah, I know. 600 times 12 is
something.
I'm not smartest man in the world, but I think 6 times 12 is 72. 7,200.
Yeah, I pay $3,600 for the year, which is about, I believe, 600.
No, it's like maybe half that. I'd say maybe like 240, 250, but it's about an average price.
Yeah, you're looking at about 7,200, which I have no idea how you even have insurance. Besides that point, I mean, realistically, I think they should take your driver's license away. I mean, how many accidents have you had in the last 5 years?
I mean, I don't want to talk about it. I mean,
is it double digits?
Lummy, he doesn't want to talk about it. Listen, I know that we have come to the conclusion that you are a threat to society. Speaking of threats to society, what's going to be happening with Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees? Because after that disappointment they had in the playoffs, couldn't get the job done. It seems like if Aaron Judge, looks for greener pastures elsewhere, some Yankees fans are going to start burning places down, and Tampa could be one of them.
I don't think he leaves the Yankees. I mean, if you look at his bottom line, ticket-wise, and they have a section of the stadium named after him, and just his overall value to the brand, I see him going back. He wants to be a Yankee. Everyone's saying San Francisco, but more than anything, Judge wants to win a World Series, and I think the Yankees are his best shot to win a World Series.
I don't know.
Right
They're
now.
not in the World Series currently, so it looks like they choked having the most. Well, not the most wins, but they were obviously the hottest team in the first half
up until all the injuries started.
Injuries.
They had five relievers in the bullpen out for the year. They had DJ LeMahieu, who would have been their starting third baseman instead of Donaldson, out. They had their starting left fielder, who's a contact hitter, Andrew Benintendi, out with injury. I mean, Matt Carpenter didn't play from August till October and came back just to basically be a pinch hitter.
Well, do you know who the most injuries in the MLB, I believe, this year was? What team had the most injuries and they still made the playoffs?
Who? The Phillies?
No.
Pretty sure it was Tampa?
For the playoff teams, I believe it was the Tampa Bay Rays. So, look, if Aaron Judge, what would you do if he went to New York, the Mets?
I don't see him going to the Mets. I don't see it. I think he's a Yankee. It's Yankees, and if I had to pick another team, I would think Dodgers.
Dodgers. Well, I mean, I think their payroll is a little high. Now, let me ask you, did you cream your pants when Judge did break the record for the most home runs by a Yankee player?
Yeah, I didn't cream my pants, but I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he did it. Like, because it was getting to the point he was sitting at like 60 for a while, having 7 to 10 games, and then the second to last game of the season, and then it was another 7 to 10 games before he hit 62, and I was getting worried. I think he lost steam, and I also think there was a point where he was walked like 27 times in like 30 at-bats at the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's too disappointing. But, I mean, look, he's going to be off the Yankees, going to a different team. You're going to have to burn your Judge jersey, but, it is what it is.
I'm not going to do that.
If he leaves, you're not going to burn it?
I thank him for... I'm not one of those people. We wouldn't have been as good as we were if it weren't for him. He carried that team last year with all the injuries.
What do you think about the rumors that he is on the Alex Rodriguez supplement to game now?
Wait, say that again?
Steroids?
I don't think Judge took steroids. I think he's the like Maris, I don't think he took steroids.
Oh, so you're comparing him to Roger Maris?
Well, Maris originally had I think Maris was the original single-season home run king because the other two guys, Bonds, Sosa, and McGuire, all cheated.
Well, yes, Roger Maris, I think he went through a little more controversy back then, too. Aaron Judge seemed like the people wanted to have him break it, but there has been reports that Aaron Judge has been on steroids since high school. So I was just wondering, what if he came out and he was on steroids? Would you still love him?
I mean, I'd be disappointed, but I'd still cheer for him. I haven't seen those reports yet, though.
Listen, I mean, this guy spends more time than anyone else we know cheering for guys on steroids, so it'd be business as usual for good old decap.
Rat. Listen, now the wrestling thing has not been proven that there are any steroids.
Okay.
I don't know any player that I like that had steroids.
Really? Who's your favorite Yankee before Judge?
I bet you there's more players you can than you think of right
Jeter?
now, probably.
Jeter was your favorite player?
Yes.
Wow.
Jeter.
He was on something. He had to keep that testosterone up, so he might have been on some testosterone boosters, but allegedly. Thank you, Decap. Decap, what do you think about the World Series? Are you watching the World Series right now? And this will be our last of our big time because the Phillies are a great team. I hope the Phillies win. I think the Phillies are the greatest team ever to win 86 games and get to the World Series. I hope they win. So what do you think of the World Series right now? Do you think Houston's still cheating? Do you think that that glove, the hand trick that the one pitcher was doing?
How about the leg, the tell on the leg?
Oh, yeah.
When the Phillies knocked off the Braves, I was like, the Phillies are probably going to win this whole. Once they knocked off the Braves and the Padres, well, I'll say even before the Padres race, once they knocked off the Braves, I thought the Phillies were going to win it all. It's all about who's hot this time of year, and the Phillies are the hottest team right now. Now, there have been other things besides the guy touching the glove in his hands and his hair. Martin Maldonado, the catcher, was using an illegal bat.
It was a gift.
You have to remember game one, the guy from the Astros tried to lean into two pitches.
That's not
well.
People
I believe in the 7th or 8th inning, and it missed him. And then he did it again in the 9th inning, but they instead of giving him the base, they gave him ball 3 and made him.
Well, people are breaking down the game last night, even down to the pitcher's motion. And they say that he's telling through his leg motion. So there were certain pitches where he only brought his right leg up to a certain area, and then a bunch of other ones he brought them up way above his belt line to where it was clearly obvious there was a difference if you're looking for stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think Houston's a cheating
Twitter
bunch of pieces of shit, and I think they're going to lose this series because I will agree with what you said.
Well, hold on.
Philly is hot.
Hold on. Houston wasn't the team Houston wasn't the team that was giving up they're saying that the Houston was tipping pitches to the Phillies.
Yeah.
They're not cheating because that means that wasn't a good thing for Houston.
Oh, well, I will say that let me backtrack here. As far as the pitches go last night, did you also see that Bryce Harper had mentioned something in the dugout to I forgot the name of their other hitter,
Alec Baum?
Yeah, I mean he whispered something in his ear, and clearly it worked. Whatever he was noticing. Which was
the Phillies noticing that a pitcher. Now, it wasn't them looking at signs and picking it up. They were noticing a tip-off that the pitcher has, which that is a normal tell. Like, you want to look for those tells. They're not cheating with video cameras. They're not like the Yankees did a couple years ago or the Blue Jays did.
Astros, you mean?
No, the Yankees actually. No, but the Yankees actually did it too. We had a professional baseball player, Slade Heathcott, who was the runner for the Yankees back then, and said that he was one of the guys that were for tipping the pitches. But Rhett, see, now that's them studying the pitcher,
right? Yeah, that's what they're
homework.
Breaking down right
there.
Yeah,
that's homework. Not you have a camera guy in center field looking at the catcher's calls, figuring it out, and then relaying it in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the pitcher's fault. And he even said that, hey, look, I wasn't meaning to tip my pitches. I just got whooped. So that's baseball.
I was looking at the leg kicks, though, on the breaking balls he was throwing. He threw 3 separate. I saw this point on Twitter, too, because I'll go back after a game and look at Twitter and see what they're saying. on 3 of the breaking balls to 3 different hitters. I know one was Harper, one was Bowman. I forgot who the third guy was. His leg kick was different on 3 different breaking balls to 3 different hitters. So it wasn't the same.
Yeah, but maybe you know what? But the Phillies are smart, Decap and Rhett. I think you understand this. Let's think about this. No, hold on. Would they really tell? Would they really be honest and say, "Hey, we noticed that his leg was kicking differently with those certain pitches," or would it be maybe something else he was doing? And they're not going to give that technique because obviously then Lance is going to change up how he brings his leg up. So it's not cheating that they figured out. Maybe it was a way he brought the ball in. Maybe it was the way he dug in. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can figure out what a pitch is by just looking at the way they're messing with the ball, which is why pitchers mess around more. So it's not cheating studying it.
Mechanics.
Yeah, listen, the Phillies finally woke up. Unfortunately, what we call him at home is Uncle Joe Girardi, got fired. Obviously, they brought in a different manager. They did not like Joe Girardi's managerial skills, and they stepped up. I mean, Phillies are a really good team. They have a stacked lineup and a really good pitching staff. I hope more than just one more thing.
When Girardi got fired, Bryce Harper was out with a partially torn UCL.
No, I know. I mean, look, I like Joe Girardi. My wife and I met him. He liked our kid.
The guy that took over is the guy who was Yankees bench coach last year, who's now manager, Robbie Thompson, who I thought the Yankees should have never let go.
Oh, so you're
so technically the Yankees are in the World Series.
Yeah, so realistically, you're bringing it. You want the Phillies to win, and you're a big because it's the Yankees, bringing it up, right? Is that what you're saying?
I had 2 ways. I hate the Astros. I can't stand the Astros. They screwed the Yankees out of the 2017 World Series.
Yeah, they screwed the Rays too. I mean, but Rays had the best record in the league.
But I thought that I liked Bryce Harper. I've always liked Bryce Harper. I kind of felt bad when he left the Nationals and then the year after they win the World Series. I've always liked Bryce Harper as a player, so I want to see him win the World Series.
Oh, good job. Yeah, we want the Phillies to win the World Series. And hopefully they do. They're up 2-1. The Astros, I mean, they still have a good lineup, whether they're cheating or not. I just don't see. I mean, I think the Phillies right now are really, really hot, and hopefully they win.
This little stretch of games they've got right here too, I think, is going to go a long way in deciding the series. If Houston can come out of Philly with at least 1 win, I still don't think it's going to be enough to save the series. I think Philly having this stretch of 3 games back to back to back, especially now with the rain delay, they're going 3 straight days. It's going to be tough to come in there and try and make some drastic changes. I don't see a scenario where Houston wins the next 2 games for sure.
If you want to be with statistics here, they have to win tonight's game because currently Justin Verlander is 0-6 in
like a 6-point-something ERA.
Yeah, in World Series games. So I think their best chance is they got to win tonight. Otherwise, I think Thursday Phillies could be. I mean, I hate to say it. Phillies could be,
as a matter of fact,
having a World Series championship, and their fans are going to be eating horse shit in the road.
You know what?
And then the Eagles are 7-0.
I don't feel bad saying it. I don't like a lot of Philly stuff because the town is garbage and most of the people are garbage. But I got a couple of Philly friends that I can put up with, and I'm happy to see this Phillies team potentially get it done. I mean, you look at everything they've gone through this year; it's like a damn movie. It writes itself. And then I also feel like whenever a team goes on a title run and you can attach a song to it, just like Philly has done, I feel like that's what's going to put them over the edge. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Eagles, hopefully
Speaking
don't.
Of Philly, I don't think the Eagles are the best team in the NFL.
Well, I don't know how to tell you that they are, but they definitely are.
They have the best
now.
record, and we're not going to get into NFL football just yet, Mr. Giant. We are going to jump over because how we do it. We do usually the great college football, and I know Rhett and I were talking about it. The college playoff rankings came out yesterday. What did you guys think of the rankings I thought they were a little. I thought they were kind of where they probably should be. Maybe you flip-flop Michigan and Clemson. I hate Big Ten football, but the ACC is kind of down, and they got Clemson at obviously number 4. What's your guys' opinion? We'll start with Decap first.
I would have actually dropped Clemson out of it and put Bama
Even with the one loss?
at 4. Yeah.
And jumping Michigan?
Tennessee's-
And jumping Michigan, too?
Tennessee, I still think Tennessee, as long as they're healthy, has the best quarterback in the country.
I think we're going to find out this weekend. Tennessee and Georgia is going to be one hell of a game, and I hate to kind of hitch my saddle to Decap here, but I agree. When I saw Clemson at 4, I don't think anyone can look at me with a straight face right now and say that Clemson is going to beat Alabama. I know that the loss is there. They're sitting there at number 6. Michigan is interchangeable. They should be in the conversation, but I just do not think there is a universe where this Clemson team is good enough to beat fucking Michigan and Alabama. I do not see it. And Clemson's got a cake schedule this year, too.
They played Syracuse, and that's it.
Who? Clemson? I mean, I believe when they played Florida State was ranked, and I believe they beat NC
No, they
State.
weren't. It was NC State.
Well, I know, but I believe
they're-
Florida State was ranked. I believe they were 23 or 24 when
Yeah,
they
but
played.
even since then, Florida State hasn't done shit.
But they
Like, they've been losing.
but they beat NC State. So I mean, you have
Didn't their quarterback get hurt in that, though?
who?
NC State? I'm pretty sure their quarterback was it that game they got hurt? He got hurt for his pec?
I don't believe so, but I mean, obviously you
Or was
play
it
to win the
the game
game. So I mean, whoever you play. I mean, once again, I don't think the ACC is as strong, but I mean, you got to look at it at this point that Alabama obviously has they have a loss. They have a loss to Tennessee, a number 1 team. They've been playing a lot of games close. They played Texas A&M close. They played Texas very close. I mean, and Texas is a subpar team that realistically, I watched that whole game. Brett knows that. He saw it on a video I made. Texas should have won that game. I mean, realistically, and you could say, well, Texas quarterback went out. Their starting quarterback went out that game. And their total yards was 374 to 371. And really it came down to a field goal and maybe a couple other close calls. But I mean, Texas right now, Alabama is looking like and even Texas A&M, Alabama could have be 3 losses right now. And you guys are like literally marking out to them.
I just don't think Clemson's that good. I just don't think when you match up Clemson and Alabama, Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney, I literally just cannot see it. I give Clemson all the credit you want to give them, but with a weak-ass schedule.
I mean, they beat Wake Forest, who was ranked. They beat NC State. They were ranked. I mean, they beat a tough Furman team.
Any
Louisiana
other team,
Tech.
any other team in the top 4 would have beat them.
When
Like,
you have
I don't-
your starting quarterback,
But where's
in a game,
Texas? I mean, you
you're
could go.
not good enough.
But where's Texas right now?
24.
Okay, they're 5-3. I think that's a little lenient on that.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they should be a top 25 team at 5-3. Are you shitting me?
No, I don't. Yeah, they lost to Alabama 2019. They lost to Texas Tech by 3, and they lost to Oklahoma State by 7.
How about the 7-1 Tulane Green Wave making their first top 25 appearance, I think, in school history, the highest rank they've ever had.
Yeah. Tulane has one of the best offensive lines.
Yeah, they've had a really good year.
Along with Tulsa, too. Tulane knows how to recruit.
It's going to be interesting to see Tulane versus UCF.
Oh, I think Tulane wins. Tulane has a big-ass front 5, and I think they dominate the UCF front 5.
If UCF
front 4.
benches John Rise Plumlee and starts Mikey Keane, that offense. I was at the game on last Saturday.
Oh, you were in
UCF.
At UCF?
The bounce house?
Yeah.
So do you bounce? Do you jump up and down on the stands?
No.
Why not?
I'd probably bust my ass if I did.
It wouldn't look very good for the insurance companies that have them all cameraed up now.
You mean when the cameras actually put him on when he's jumping with his 3-inch vertical?
Yeah, it just so happens to be that the one attorney going after him turns on ESPN and sees his big ass in there bouncing around. I'm sure that'll go awesome.
Wait, do you sit in the handicap seats or do you sit in the actual stands?
What are you talking about, bro? He rolls up on the scooter. He gets sideline treatment.
I don't have a scooter. I have a walker.
Oh, he has a walker. Sorry, excuse me. No scooter.
So do you walk? Do you use your walker to the sidelines?
No, I don't go on the sidelines.
Oh, wow.
I go up in the stands, but
Oh, so you sit in the metal stands?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. We're just asking. I mean, I think we'll go back to college football too. I mean, I still think, even though they had a tough loss to LSU, I think Ole Miss is a good team. I think Ole Miss could beat Alabama this week, or is it next week? Yeah, it's next week.
It'll be a close game, but I don't know. Ole Miss has had some pretty good wins so far this year, though. I know Auburn is Auburn. They just fired their head coach, but by the way, former Bucks running back Cadillac Williams, a new interim for the rest of the year. You see that?
Is he for Auburn?
Is it all? I'm pretty sure it was Auburn, if I saw correctly. But I know he's been on the coaching staff there for the last couple of years. He's their interim head coach.
Who's your favorite college team there, Decap?
I like the Gators and UCF.
Well, Gators really struggling this year, huh, buddy?
I knew once we lost Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney, and Kyle Trask, it was going to be a rebuild, which they're in. I think Anthony Richardson has potential to be a great quarterback. He's definitely an explosive player. He showed it in the Utah game. It's a learning curve for him right now. I think he has 2-3 years left of eligibility. I think by the end of that, he could, with the right coaching, hopefully, I'm still not sold on Napier, but hopefully he ends up being what I think he can be in the NFL, a first-round quarterback.
So are you getting rid of Napier after second season next year? Are you already giving up on him? Are you giving up on him?
Identify other candidates. I mean, I'm sure they could have found. I know I'm that guy, but they could have. I don't know why. And it's something with Florida. They never go after the big names, even though they have the money. Why didn't they at least attempt Urban Meyer?
Huh. Well, I don't think they wanted to.
I mean, it would have been an absolute PR nightmare. Like, let's get realistic here for a minute. Why do you not attempt Urban Meyer when he's fresh off an NFL coaching stint where he went 0-6 and then got fucking canned? And on top of that, there's video coming out of him every other week cheating on his wife.
And finger banging some chick on his dance floor in the steakhouse.
It would not have been a very, very good look for the Gators at all. And even still, I hate to say that any team considering Meyer is going to get flack for it, but they know what they're signing up for. So regardless of what his next job will be, if he gets another coaching job, people are not going to let that team hear the end of it because he made an absolute ass out of himself in Jacksonville. I mean, there are 7-page articles talking about what a piece of shit human being he is to work for and work around. And I think a lot of schools are taking notice of that. I don't think any organization wants to get involved with that. He's a joke.
You really wanted him back at Florida?
I mean, just to at least explore it or explore other candidates. I mean, the last time
I think they explored other candidates.
Well, the last time they won was when he was there.
Well, yeah, no shit. I mean, there's a lot of different schools nowadays. I mean, you got Alabama. But Alabama has been in there. You got Georgia's able to do it. And then you have obviously Tennessee coming up.
I mean, I'm just watching all these other SEC schools pick up these coaches I know
what fucking Brian Kelly.
I know Lincoln Riley was at Oklahoma and he went to USC, and then LSU went and got Brian Kelly. Why can't we make a hire like that and spend that
Maybe Lincoln Riley didn't want to come to Florida. I mean, maybe he didn't want to go sit in Gainesville.
I think if the Gators had made a move to hire Brian Kelly, they'd be in a worse position than they are right now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Brian Kelly's as good of a coach as a lot of people want to give him credit for. He's getting exposed at LSU.
I mean, he's pulled the nose up a little bit, but
to work with. I like Coach O, but he messed up.
What do you mean, LSU?
Really much recruiting.
I mean, they're 6-2 right now, and a 4-1 win. In the conference.
Okay, so I guess he's turned the nose up a little bit with a team that doesn't have a lot to work with, but I still I'm not a big fan of him.
Oh, I'm not either. I think he's a douchebag. I think he's a douchebag. I'm surprised that I don't
like what he did to Notre Dame.
Decap, I mean, were you in did you want to see Spurrier to come back too?
I mean, no, I want someone that can recruit.
Hey, don't talk shit about the head ball coach. You saw what he did with the world champion Orlando Apollos.
I understand that. I mean, that's why
the Alliance of American Football, the only undefeated team in league history.
Right, listen, if anything, that guy loves Gainesville. He's got a restaurant
Oh,
there.
hell
He's always
yeah.
at every game. I think he works there, like, or just as an advisor. If anything, he'd be like, "Hey, Steve, you want to come back for a couple years?"
And he'd go.
Is that how he talks?
I thought they should have never fired
The
Dan
last
Mullen.
interview I heard with him
It was a
wasn't great.
rebuilding year.
I thought Dan Mullen shouldn't have been fired either, but they said he sucks at recruiting. So
I mean, I think they made the right decision with Dan Mullen because to a couple of degrees, it felt like he just lost the locker room. It felt like towards the end of it, it was getting a little ugly to watch. He didn't have those guys in the best position to play, and with Kyle Trask having the year that he did, having Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney, all those other guys that were making him look good, like it. I don't really put the winning season on Mullen, So I think they made the right move there.
I mean, DCAP wanted Urban Meyer back, and I guess when Urban Meyer was at Florida, how long was he at Florida for?
Like, I think 6 years.
So it looks like it's 6 years. There were
2000, was it 2000?
25?
I think it was 8 years, 2004 to 2012, I think. Or
So-
It looks like
During the
25.
years-
Yeah, 25 players were made up of their arrest, but I guess that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, during his time there, 25 players were arrested and 6 coaches were also dealing with legal issues. So I don't know that's not a great culture thing for.
And then 8 were at Ohio State, and then one obviously committed suicide in prison.
Wow.
Who killed multiple people
Supposedly.
allegedly? Oh, yeah. What? Oh,
Allegedly.
now
yeah.
did he actually? Do you think he murdered those people, DCAP?
I think he murdered them.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't think he committed suicide.
Oh, you don't? DCAP,
No.
what do you think happened to Aaron Hernandez?
I think someone tried to do something to him. He said no, and then
Oh.
they murdered him.
So you don't believe that he had a love interest in prison, and we'll keep it at that.
Well, I think someone tried to rape him.
Oh, and then they got the best
and
of
they
him
got in a
though.
fight, and the guy killed him.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
so-
did you watch the
okay.
documentary on him where all of his former teammates talk about he used to just whip out his dick in the locker room and do a bunch of gay stuff?
Whoa, that's normal, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know that's sure.
I mean, I know a lot of football players that used to do that. I'll leave them unnamed.
Yeah.
Yeah, DCAP knows all about it too. But yeah, so you guys really aren't. You're not buying the whole Clemson
No.
phenomenon.
Yeah, I can't.
So you think they make the playoffs, or you think they get knocked out in the ACC?
I think they'll probably win the ACC, but
I don't think
Shit,
any
dude,
team
I
from
think
the
they'll-
ACC deserves it.
Not even.
I think they'll be one of the odd teams out at the end of the year. I think they'll end up, if they go undefeated, they'll probably end up ranked like 6, 7.
Oh, really?
If
Yeah.
TCU goes undefeated, they belong in over Clemson.
Really? So you think the Big 12 is actually better than the ACC?
Yeah, I do.
Why is that? I want to hear your analysis on that.
I
just
just
do.
do. I think better quality football.
I mean, you don't think the Big 12 is kind of stepping it up? I mean, Kansas State's won a lot of games. I mean, we talked about Texas taking Alabama to, a 1-point game. I mean, to the SEC. You got the TCU, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. I mean, there's a couple decent teams in the Big 12. I mean, that's where your big time
Couple of-
UCF is going to be here shortly. And
Yeah.
Oklahoma's shit in the bed now, but still. And Kansas is ranked.
TCU's toughest game left is probably against Texas. I'd say they've got Texas Tech, Texas, Baylor, and Iowa State. I know Texas Tech kind of started the year hot, but they're like 4-4 right now.
No, they've lost 3. They're 2-3 in the
Gonna be
conference,
really good
but
next
Okay,
year.
all right.
yeah, I mean, Texas Tech's still gonna be hard, but that's at home. I think it's gonna be tough it's at Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I think even at Baylor is gonna be tough, and it shouldn't be too bad at home against Iowa State. So, realistically, the next 3 games, I mean, I think they take care of Texas Tech at home, but I think those 2 away games are gonna be tough.
Hey, let me ask
Speaking
you.
of Texas,
Oh yeah, go ahead. Speaking of Texas,
next year they're going to have a problem, like quarterback wise. They have the guy they have now was a top recruit, and they have Arch Manning coming in, and I don't see them putting Arch Manning on the bench. And they have I believe it's the number 1 recruiting class right now.
Yeah, which right now though, I mean, I don't.
For next year.
Yeah, but there's
that's what I'm
still,
saying.
Arch comes in next year.
yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
But yeah, a lot of people haven't committed yet though, DCAP.
They got the number one running back.
Yeah, but Decap, look at this.
They
Texas,
got-
hold on, Decap. Do you give a lot of things up to the rankings in the college football system?
Why do you think Alabama's always at the top?
Why do you think
every year?
Texas
They're always
A&M
the
is
top
garbage
three.
this year? They had the number one recruiting class for the last 2-3 years.
Well, that's because of that money.
Yeah, but they still have the top recruiting classes every year. They're not doing much with it. I think the whole number one recruiting thing, I think that whole thing is, especially now with the NIL, is complete garbage. I think those kids are getting foolish. They're in their heads, and if they get disciplined or anything like that, I think they just transfer now. So I don't think realistically, we got the number one running back. We got the number one. Why do you think it's the number one running back? Why do you think? Because he plays where? Where's this guy getting recruited from?
I mean, Florida.
Okay. Well, maybe there's a guy in Texas that you don't really know about, and he's the fucking number one recruit. I mean that's the whole thing. Is like everyone that goes in and says their recruiting class is so good. Yeah, I mean Alabama, but I mean obviously they have Nick Saban.
But that's also the thing too, is that you can say that any school has the number one recruiting class from here until when is signing day officially? Like first week of February, I think.
Yeah, but they still all fuck it over anyhow.
Right. So between now and then, there's going to be a handful, and I mean like more than a handful of guys who are going to commit, decommit, recommit to somewhere else, change their mind, maybe back out of a situation they thought would be good for them.
Yep.
So I will agree that saying that one school has the best recruiting class this many years in a row, like it really doesn't fucking matter, because clearly with Texas A&M being in the hole that they're in with Jimbo Fisher a head coach, there's bigger problems than just getting a better recruiting class than what they have right now. But I will say, I agree with what he's saying about Tennessee. Like I don't think they're going to beat Georgia this weekend, but I think when you can finish the year potentially ranked top 10 and you have the prospect of Arch Manning, hey, he's probably going to be our quarterback for the next 3 years at least. Well, that is going to lure some offensive guys to go there before anywhere else. I do think they have a good thing going on right now in Tennessee, and it's just going to kind of keep getting better these next couple of years.
And that's why Georgia's come up.
I don't know, because I know a lot of them, when Heupel was at UCF, a lot of the UCF fans wanted him gone. I don't know if it's because they have, the quarterback that they have.
No, he's a good coach. You fuckers. You know why?
All the fans said.
You know why? Because they came off their bullshit national championship. They came off of that. And your boy Scott Frost, he didn't do. And look at Scott Frost. He should have never left. He should have never left UCF. But guess what he did?
You know why he wasn't gonna? You know why he wasn't gonna do good in Nebraska? Who the hell wants to play in Nebraska?
Well, back in the day they did, and that's what they still believe in. And also because you guys
Not
have had
anymore.
a character.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing. Hey, Decap. There's nothing in Kansas State either. You know where Kansas State is? You know what? I have $1 right in my pocket.
Kansas.
No. What city is Kansas State in?
Kansas City.
No. Rhett, do you know?
I don't.
It's Manhattan, Kansas. It's an hour and a half drive from the airport. You fly into Kansas City, Missouri, or some shit like that. You fly into one of those airports. I think it was Kansas City, Kansas, but there's a Kansas City, Missouri, too. You fly into that airport, and then you drive an hour and a half to nothing. And guess what? They're ranked, and Bill Snyder was able to recruit there. Who wants to go to Kansas State? I remember after the game on Saturday.
Also, correction, Arch Manning is going to Texas, not Tennessee, and I'm just a fucking idiot.
We said Texas.
I said Texas.
We said Texas.
I was sitting there talking about Tennessee the entire
we were talking about
time.
Texas. But hold on. Texas. But what I'm saying, Decap, is that if he was a good coach, he could recruit. Look, Bill Snyder was able to recruit kids to Kansas State, and they've had a good team. They have a good team again this year. I mean, realistically, Auburn. It's in Auburn, Alabama. No one's going to Auburn, Alabama. I've been there. It's in the middle of Alabama, just like Alabama. I mean, you could say the same thing with Mississippi. Like all these places that have these schools like that. Who the fuck? I mean, if you're going with that, realistically, then everyone should be going to Miami, USC, UCLA. All these like. I mean, shit.
I think it has to do with the coach too. Who the coach?
But that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if Scott Frost was that good of a coach, then he should have been able to recruit and coach up the guys that he recruited at Nebraska. That's why I feel that UCF was so brainwashed, and they were like, we're better than what we are. But Scott Frost, for some reason, I guess let the cabin bare and UCF, where Hubel, whatever the fuck is Josh Hubel from who's coach at or the quarterback at Oklahoma back in like 98, 97, or 2000, whatever the fuck he was. But you know what? He's a good coach, and I think that he is going to last there for a while in Tennessee. I think that he is a good football coach. And you know what? UCF is done.
I do think Frost is a good coach. One of the difference, though, with him, too, is you can't – he was big at getting – Florida has, like, the top players because Alabama gets a bunch of Florida players. Georgia gets a bunch of Florida players. Texas. And none of the people from Florida, because their families aren't going to go, are going to go to Nebraska.
Well,
no, you can't say that. Then who the fuck would want to go to half these schools, Decap? You can't say that anymore.
They get people from middle parts of the country, but that's
Decap.
In the country
these schools,
Decap,
these schools have so much money, they'll fly the parents in. They'll fly in the family.
Yeah, no, like literally, that's never been an issue
up until this year.
No, that's not true, Decap.
They weren't allowed.
No, Decap, you're incorrect on that one. My buddy played at K-State. There was a golfer. He wore the flappy hat. I remember I went to his house after one of the games we went to. I can't think of his fucking name, but he was this flappy hat wearing motherfucker, and he was like he was trying to build a private airport right by his house on a golf course, so he could fly the recruits in, and then he could fly their parents in for the games, like top recruits. It wasn't illegal for the school to provide transportation to the school for the family. They do it for the bowl games.
I'm pretty sure it was illegal up until they allowed the NIL.
No, it was not, Decap. I'm telling you. I fucking witnessed it. They do it at the bowl games, too.
I think you may be confused. There was a rule against the NFL doing that for college prospects.
Yeah.
And back in the day, that's what fucked up the Buccaneers and Bo Jackson because they ruined his eligibility by flying him to Tampa after telling him it wouldn't do that. And that's why he refused to play here. That was a rule for a long time.
Yes.
But I think with the NIL coming out, I do not think that's a rule anymore. No, I think that may be what you're thinking of.
Decap, you are also getting confused probably with the Reggie Bush thing where they're not allowed to buy the parents a house, their uncle a house, cars. No, they're allowed to provide transportation because they would just throw it under a booster, and it's not illegal, to fly them in for games and fly them out.
Yeah, and let's be honest, regardless of all the shit that's legal or not legal, they've been doing a lot of quote-unquote illegal stuff in college football for 50 years.
Yeah, but
let's not pretend that, even if it's illegal, it's not still happening.
But even all right, Big E 7375 said in chat, he was in West Virginia from 93, or he was there from 93, 98, but they used to fly his parents in when he was at West Virginia. It's been going on forever. The parents thing is not the same thing that you're thinking of. So, yeah, we're just getting on a rabbit hole of UCF talk. Tennessee is going to be good with their coaching staff. Miami has nothing to worry about. Cristobal is going to be a good coach. I still think the last coach got a raw deal, but look, the teams are pretty much, if you're a good coach, you're going to be able to make the best out of your players.
Hey, let me ask one more question for our buddy Decap before we move on here. Do you think Tennessee beats Georgia this weekend?
I do.
Yeah, you got Tennessee hanging on to that number one spot. Georgia taking the fall. It's gonna be a good game, and believe it or not,
it's gonna be very close. It's gonna come down to the last minute. Like, is it at Tennessee?
Good question. Lummy, do you happen to know off the top of your head?
It's in Georgia.
So it's in Georgia, and I believe Tennessee is favored by 8.5. Which is kind of crazy.
There's going to be a lot of Tennessee fans there, too, because Tennessee's right next to Georgia.
Is it? Oh. Do you know where Athens, Georgia is? Is Athens, Georgia on the Tennessee border, or is it more toward the Atlantic? Decap.
Jesus, I'm wrong. I'm wrong again. Georgia favored by 8.5, not Tennessee. Jesus Christ. I've just been full of misinformation
that's
today.
0 for 2 right there.
I know. I'm doing terrible.
I mean, Decap just showed you up.
This is how I am without Brian here. I told you this show's gonna be awful because we don't have our star.
That is true. Decap. So what do you think the final
Let me
score
see
is?
Let me see how far. Where is it's Knoxville, Tennessee?
Well, yeah. And then you got to Athens, Georgia, which Athens is not Atlanta. But 8-point spread, I mean, I think I'm taking it.
4 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, there you go. It's 4 hours and 20 minutes. I'm sure
People
those guys.
will make that.
Yeah, easily. I'm sure it's easy. It's a cheap ticket to get. Looks like tickets currently start at $565 for level 300.
Yeah,
or whatever the highest level is in their fucking stadium.
Nothing.
Listen, Decap, who do you got? So +8 and -8. You still taking Georgia, or are you just taking Georgia straight up win?
I'm just going to take Tennessee straight up win.
Okay. Rhett, are you taking that +8? I'm taking the +8 on Tennessee.
Yeah, I'll take Georgia. No, I like Georgia this weekend.
You like Georgia -8?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a close game.
By the way, this is likely the rematch of this will likely be a rematch in the SEC championship.
No, I don't think Georgia covers, but I do think they win.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you get the points, I'm taking Tennessee +8.
No,
I'm taking Georgia to win straight up, but I'm taking Tennessee +8, and I'm taking the over, which is 66.
Yeah, I like the over in that one too.
I think it's going to be one of those old school SEC games.
One of those two teams is scoring 40 points.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be a shootout.
My prediction is Georgia wins 43-40. Rhett, what's your prediction?
I will say Georgia 41, Tennessee 38.
And Decap, what's your prediction on this?
43-40, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
Hadn't heard that one.
I'm switching. I'm going to go. It's going to be final score 46-43 with a Georgia win.
A lot of field goals in that game.
I think it ends at the field goal.
Yeah.
Or something. I just had to get away from that fucking 43-40 pick.
And
I really liked it for a minute.
This is probably going to be the SEC championship game.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going 43-41, Rhett.
43-41.
Yeah.
2-point game-winning field goal no matter what.
Exactly.
I like it.
Let's move on to the NFL.
Do we want to move on with our boy here?
Well, we'll leave him on for a couple more minutes, you know.
Okay,
That's
we're
fine.
more than halfway through the show. We might as well do the whole goddamn show with him.
Yeah, well,
I will if you want.
Well, I mean, we'll see about that with your NFL knowledge and if, see where you go there. But
what are you guys going to do NBA also?
Fuck no.
No.
Maybe we'll give him 10 more minutes, Rhett. Good point. So I kind of wanted, there was breaking news today. Dan Snyder hires Bank of America to explore Commander's sale. Do you think this is where he sells the team and then just does a wiki leak and just drops everything about everyone?
Yeah, I think the fact that it's taken him this long to even acknowledge that, hey, maybe we should look at some transaction opportunities, as they put it. I think this is long overdue, but I think he's just fed up. I think he's going to get a lot of heat on the way out as it happens, and he's going to be so pissed off that by the end of this, even when we think he has sailed off into the sunset, there's going to be some anonymous source who is like, hey, turns out that this NFL owner has hookers twice a week, and this NFL owner has stake in this illegal activity, and this guy... And this guy.
And this guy thinks this about Gerdau and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, I literally think this is just... I think a lot of shit's about to go down. And it's going to take a little while. It's not going to be next week. But I guarantee you, right after the Super Bowl ends, we get our first little scandalous something that comes out.
Oh, you know what I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be the week before the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, just to get everybody going, right?
Get everyone going, take it away, so then possibly during the Super Bowl, they're going to have to probably even talk about it. Or not. Yeah. But there's going to be a lot of media and those little things. So that when they have media row, the media are then going to have to kind of talk about it, maybe with, let's say a Rondé Barber or Emmitt Smith or whoever comes up to your booth, hey, what did you think of that? The Commanders said, Jerry Jones, allegedly gets, 5 blah, blah, blahs, every lunch break or something.
You know what I also thought was funny was last week the Washington Commanders played the Indianapolis Colts, and for the Colts it was their homecoming game. It was like their Ring of Honor game. They put a guy in the Ring of Honor. It was a big celebratory deal. And it's funny because I don't think it's a coincidence that they decided to do that with Dan Snyder being in the building.
And the owner, Jim Irsay, did drop some shit
Jim
earlier.
Irsay being the guy to come out and, say, hey, I think there is some merit to removing this guy as an owner. And then next thing you know, he's, reliving his Colts glory days with Jim Irsay in the building. I don't think that was a coincidence at all that they planned that.
You think Dan Snyder in the probably opposite owner's box was giving Jim Irsay the DX suck it sign the whole time?
Yeah, probably.
Like, motherfucker, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, what do you got to say about that?
Mm-hmm.
Or what do you, or Decap, what do you think about the, do you think Dan Snyder should be out as an owner?
I do. I think he's done too much, and he's going to cause so much. Can I curse?
Yeah.
He's going to cause so much shit on the way out,
I think I've said
and
fuck
just
10 times,
cause a shitstorm for the league. I do have to say, as a Giants fan, I'm going to hate seeing him go because with him as owner, they're always mediocre. So,
no, I mean, listen.
at least for their fan base, hopefully they get an owner that is willing to spend and
You talking about the Giants right
yeah.
now?
Listen, did you just get your dick hard because the Giants have had one good year in the last 12 since Eli Manning left?
No, I don't think we're going to win it. I have another team.
Shit, Sherlock.
I don't think they're going to win it, but you can't deny that they are having the best season that they have had, and it's no coincidence with Dayball having this great of a year.
I have some points to that, and I'm not trying. My thing is, we've played a bunch of bad teams.
Yeah, but you've beat good teams. Like, they have beat a couple of solid teams. They beat the Titans week 1. The Titans are a pretty decent team.
Yeah, they're not bad. They beat the Ravens.
You lost to the Cowboys. You lost to the Bears. It's okay, but you beat the fucking Packers. You beat the Ravens.
They beat the Bears.
We beat the Bears.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You lost to the Cowboys is what I meant to say.
Yeah, they beat the Bears, beat the Packers, they beat the Ravens. Now, those games were at home. Now, they did. Now, this is what the Giants, this is what I'm going to say about the Giants. And I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate from it because we do have a lot of New York fans. The Giants have had a really good schedule. One, because some of the teams are weak, and also they've had 5 straight home games after playing 1 game on the road.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. You played the Panthers 19-16 at home. The Cowboys you lost. The Bears was an 8-point game. The Packers was another close game. The Ravens was a close game. All those games were at home. Unlike a lot of other teams that have had to go Packers 2 games on, 2 games off, 2 games at home, 2 games away, 2 games. I mean, the Bucs, we haven't had, I think we had 1 back-to-back home game. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but a lot of other teams have had to travel, especially with going over to Europe, things like that. I think the Giants were handed a nice schedule of having 5 straight home games. Now, it's going to hurt them at the end with having a lot of away games, but I think that was pretty easy of them because the next 2 are, listen, the Giants' next 2 home games are the Texans and the Lions. Come on. And then they're at the Cowboys.
Yeah,
they're at home against the Commanders and the Eagles. You guys trade your fucking tight ends.
Fucking open your mouth about the Lions.
Yeah, you trade your fucking tight end for some reason.
Yeah, what the fuck was that about? Going in the division too?
So why do you think the Giants are not that good? There's already talks that they're going to sign OBJ.
The wide receivers.
What if they get OBJ back?
I'd love for them to get OBJ back, but he won't be back supposedly till December now.
What's up with Kadarius Toney? Is that guy just fucking suck?
So I have a friend that works at the University of Florida as a he's one of the header someone I know.
Yeah, and he told you that he fucking sucks.
He's one of the what?
He's one of the headers.
He's one of the headers. Was he blow him like every fucking halftime?
Of the science department, head in the public relations department there.
The science department. What the fuck does the science department have to do with the fucking Gators?
I misspoke. The public relations department there. And he said Kadarius Toney hangs out with the wrong crowd, and he's more focused on his rap career than being into football.
Now, is that insider information from DCAP? Do we have breaking news?
Yeah, that guy. I got to tell you,
at the University of Florida.
I got to tell you, I know you've got good sources, but you don't get the feeling at all that a University of Florida staff member who may or may not have liked this guy in college isn't the least bit biased about what's happening here.
No.
How could that guy be biased at all, right?
Right, what are you talking about? No.
I know that the coaches,
inside source.
Since Dable was hired and Shane was hired,
who?
They didn't like him. They didn't like him. They didn't like Galladay.
Or were they just unhappy about the fucking amount of money you guys don't have under the cap?
That too. I mean, and then you have to look at after this year, they have to pay Saquon Barkley and Dexter Lawrence.
Well,
and Daniel Jones if they keep him.
Well, come
I
on.
mean,
now.
hold on. Danny
Come
Jones
on
is
now.
dropping dimes. I mean, why wouldn't you want to have Danny Dimes?
He's been good for 1 year.
Okay. Well, what's wrong with that? Saquon Barkley, man. You're already giving up on the Giants?
Give him $25 million. I'm not giving up. I'm saying there's some things that I still need to see. I need to see. I would either tag him or sign him to like a 1 year, $25 million deal, but I wouldn't give
$25 million, Jesus.
like a $100 million deal. I need to see another year of this, and I need to get him a wide receiver to see if he's the guy. You can't just judge it on one good year.
Are you ready to see?
He's been bad for 3.
You ready to see Saquon Barkley in another uniform next year?
No, I want him to stay.
It's not going to happen, buddy. There is no
They're
possible
not
way.
Let him go for nothing.
I'd kill him.
After the season that he's having, I mean, obviously this is what you guys have been hoping for since you drafted him in the top 5 pick of the draft. But like, I don't think there is any possible way the Giants are going to be able to hang on to him for what other teams are going to offer him.
They're going to tag him. He's not hitting free agency.
So you're going to tag Daniel Jones and Barkley and then hope to sign a bunch of wide receivers. You know, Decap, you know what? Put your resume in. You should be the new Giants GM.
No, what I'm saying is they're going to tag Barkley.
And
they'll try to work out a deal with Jones. If they can't work out a short-term deal with Jones, they'll let Jones walk and draft a quarterback.
See, I don't even know.
They're going to draft a quarterback. Oh, that's easy. That won't put him back another 5 years like they already did with Daniel Jones. Maybe they'll put Tyrod Taylor. Hopefully he doesn't have a doctor break his spleen.
They're not letting Barkley go for nothing. They'll tag him and trade him if anything.
Before we let you go here, Superstar Decap, just, you know, obviously Bubba probably really wants to know, what's your opinion on what's going on with the Packers?
He has no one to throw to. I think he's going to force his way out after the season.
Oh, yeah?
I think
so. You
done.
think he's retired after this?
I don't think he's going to retire, but I think he'll force his way out somehow. He has no one to throw to, and I think the trade didn't work out for him or Devontae Adams.
I think he's going to force his way out by retiring. I think Aaron Rodgers.
Why would he want to retire with that contract he has? Why would he want to retire?
I think he'll threaten to retire.
Hold on. Why would he threaten to
get out of?
I mean, I guess he makes $101 million
until they trade him.
But so you think that he'll just take his money and then retire?
Then trade him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I do think he'll retire and then they'll trade him and then he'll come out of retirement.
So you think Aaron Rodgers is going to go down to Tampa and where's Tom Brady go?
I think he's finally going to retire.
So you think the pussy finally, which you know about, made him like go crazy and now he's not playing that well even though he has really good stats?
Also, his offensive, doesn't he have 2 offensive linemen that are out for the year?
No, not for the year. His center's out for
the year.
His center's out for what, another couple of months or another couple of weeks?
His center's out for. I mean, they've kept us in the dark, and I
thought it's December he's coming back.
Seems like there's a possibility he could be back by late November, so this month, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I don't know if he's going to be in playing shape.
Yeah, 2 more things before I go.
Okay, right.
I don't think it's all on Tom Brady either. I'm not trying. Todd Bowles, great defensive coordinator, but he's never had success as a head coach in the 3 other places he coached as a head coach before.
And where were those?
I think that also has to play. That also has to play a role.
Now, I mean, what teams was Todd Bowles the head coach for?
Eagles.
Okay.
Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one more. He did it. There was one more that he was an intern for.
Oh, well, intern for how long, though? Because, I mean, sometimes you can't really put it on that. No.
I mean, never made the playoffs.
Hold on, the Jets have been a laughingstock for the longest time.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Jets team in his first year went 10-6, and they just got a worse roster every year after that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but why has Tampa basically has the same roster and they've gone downhill?
Well, a lot of it have been hurt. And the other interim head coach position that you were thinking of was the Dolphins in 2011.
I mean,
and he went and by the way, when he was the interim coach for the Dolphins, he went 2-1. So he went 2-1, and obviously
you guys have
Godwin is still coming off kind of. He's coming off his knee thing.
Yeah, but he's been healthy. He's been getting targets.
Julio Jones. He doesn't have Rob Gronkowski. What's his name's got a concussion now.
Cam.
You're telling me Gronkowski's because he's missing Gronkowski, the other three guys can't do anything? I know Julio's been hurt. I know Evans was suspended a game, but they should still be clicking. There's something more going on here.
Yeah, it's because the play calling has been fucking garbage.
Yeah, it's you don't want to look at Todd Bowles. You want to look at
that's
Byron
why
Leftwich.
I think a lot of people look at the offensive struggles for Tampa Bay, and they look at in the grand scheme of things, it's an easy ploy to say that Tom Brady is cooked, something's going on, he's not connecting with his receivers, but he is. They're getting yards. They're getting up and down the field. It's just once they get in the red zone, they don't score any fucking points. And that's the problem with the Bucs this year, is that they are not scoring points. We're 9 weeks into the season, and Ryan Suckup still leads the team in scoring.
Well, you know what? Sometimes shit happens. Decap, the chat wants to know, are you pre-strapped right now?
One more thing.
You have your condom on?
I think that the team that's going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yes.
The team that's going to win the Super Bowl is the Buffalo Bills.
That's a hot take.
That is a hot take.
That's a hot take.
I don't know if there's anyone.
Are you 100% sure about that?
I don't know if there's anyone.
I haven't heard anyone else say that.
I'll put money on it.
Will you?
I'll put $100
All right,
on it.
listen, $100. Okay, everyone in chat.
Lummy, we don't. I don't know if you remember, but we're not allowed to bet on.
Oh no, we're not betting with Decap. Decap can say that all he wants. I'm telling. Hey, listen, everyone in chat. We have a hot take from Decap. Boo, boo, boo. Decap, what was it again? Who's going to win it?
Buffalo Bills are winning the Super Bowl.
You
Josh
fucking said the Giants at first, and then he started to say the Giants.
But then he looked at the records and said, "Shit."
The Buffalo Bills.
Thank you, Eat More Coastline. We heard it here first. The Bills are Decap's favorite to win the Super Bowl. Put your money on probably one of the most even bets you possibly can in Vegas. But Decap, listen, we appreciate you coming on. We hope you had as much fun as we had, talking sports with you.
It's been a productive hour.
Do you have any dates lined up here shortly?
Not right now.
No, you're kind of kicking around the crickets?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Talk to Daniel Rose. Maybe he can be his +1 for Barp this year.
Shut up, man.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Oh, well, that's not cool. Listen, he's a great guy. And we hope the best. We hope you obviously, keep losing your weight. I'm sure you're down 20, 25, 30 ounces. And what are you down currently?
20 pounds.
20 pounds.
Hell yeah, man.
Nice.
Them bitches are going to be crawling all over you here
Well,
before you know it.
There they are. Penis, you listen, when you start losing all that weight, man, your penis will look a lot bigger. And by the way, are you in the bathroom currently?
No.
You have a nice echo though, or did you just call that hooker supposedly that you got a blowjob from?
No, I didn't.
Are you where are you?
In my room.
You were not in your room.
I was.
You're at home, but you're not in your room.
I am in my room.
You're in your room now, but you weren't in your room 15 seconds ago.
I was.
We heard the door close, Decap. There's no point to lie. Yeah.
I was in my room. I've been in my room the whole time. I'm just walking around.
It's all good,
buddy.
Decap. Listen, you know what? That's good. You're burning calories while you're talking to us about sports, and that's the best thing you can definitely do. Look, we look forward to you possibly coming on in 2027 for the next sports show that we have. We hope you get laid. We hope you get a real blowjob, and we hope everything there is, and the Giants win the Super Bowl or the Bills, whoever you said.
The Bills.
and finger the starfish, as Douglas Pearson said. But you know what, Decap, I do appreciate you taking your time and lunch and everything that you were able to do. And you are probably the coolest hunchback, most losing weight person I've ever met. And I appreciate you.
Not to be a hunchback much longer.
Yes, you're going to get that surgery once you drop the next 20 pounds.
30 more.
You're close, baby. Home stretch.
You know what? Just keep walking around, man. Just keep walking it off.
Yeah, I'll try.
All right,
Thank you,
buddy.
You know what, Rhett?
All right, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you, Decap. You're the man. Goodbye, Rhett. I mean, Decap.
Yeah,
Sorry, I get you confused because you didn't say anything.
If
we ever need you back on,
on,
yeah, we will. All right, man. I just got you know what? Our executive producer just gave me the neck. All right, man.
That motherfucker was taking a shit.
He
was pooping.
He was.
He's not gonna tell you the truth, but he was definitely like 99% sure he was in the bathroom.
You know he could not hold that in. He was shitting.
I mean, what are we doing? Did he not think we would notice? Like, he just stepped into a warehouse at some point.
Oh,
hello, echoey ass
hello.
room, man.
I know.
He was pooping.
813-90-BUBBA, 813-90-BUBBA. Yes, Decap was taking a shit, I guess.
Oh man,
I don't know. I was getting texts that Decap probably carries the whole show. So
dude,
and the guy's name is Decap. So
that was 70 minutes of Decap. I think that's the most airtime he's ever had in this building, and he wasn't even here.
Well, no, when he talks about his fake prostitute, he got a good. I think he got 2 breaks during that one.
Let's not forget about that.
That was
yeah,
good.
but there's no breaks. This is the ancillary product. This is we're not terrestrial syndicated deal. We're just we plow through this thing an hour and a half, whether you're ready or not.
He had to make sure he went to the bathroom and dropped it off.
I get it. I can appreciate it.
I mean, Roger Dawson did say Rhett was jealous he was in the bathroom.
I had to poop.
I know. That's what he's saying. You're jealous of it.
You want to know something funny, too? Is that today on the opening segment, Bubba was giving me a hard time because I was in there pooping. But, I got here early so I could go in there and poop because I knew that during our 6-minute and 20-second breaks, I wasn't going to be able to pinch one off that quickly.
Why didn't you poop before when you got here early?
I did. I got here 15 minutes early to go in there and go poop.
So why didn't you?
I did. I was just a lot.
You were in there for 15 minutes.
It's a lot of paperwork, Lummy.
Oh wow, are you okay?
No, I'm good. It was traumatic. It was a lot.
Did you spray?
Yeah, of course I sprayed. That's common courtesy. What are you talking about? Why would I not?
Do you play like a video game like Bubba does with that 15 minutes?
No, my phone's so old and shitty that I can't even put games on it. They barely run.
Let's take our first phone call of the day besides Decap. Let's just decompress here for a minute. 610. I'm sweating back here just thinking of what we just did. What's up?
Brian from Philly. How you been?
Oh, I'm great, Brian from Philly with the Phillies and the Philly Eagles.
Yeah.
What's up there? Yeah.
Rhett, when's the last time you were in Philly, buddy?
Oh, shit.
You know what?
Dude,
I've never been in Philly. Oh, Rhett. Sorry. I thought you meant me. Sorry.
It's been a minute. I mean, I really drove around it when I went to Pittsburgh one time.
Pittsburgh's not even close. It's 8 hours away.
I know. So realistically, it's been a very, very long time. I don't spend a lot of time.
It has some really shitty parts, and as in all big cities, the crime's out of control. But it does have some really righteous areas. Just saying.
Oh, I'm sure. I know. I'll tell you one thing that I hear about a lot too is I got a buddy of mine. One of my closest friends lives in Pottstown, which, as far as I know,
used to live there.
Yeah, and so he lives over there, and he tells me about all the good ass food spots that they have up there. And I will agree that I'm sure that they have quite the selection of just all the greasiest, nastiest food I could want at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I've just, even from the people who have lived there, I haven't heard too many redeemable things about the city itself.
Yeah, it's got its problems lately. But anyway, the reason I called, the most overrated college football coach probably in history has got to be James Franklin, Penn State. One of the top 10 paid. He's 2-15 against top 10 teams in his career at Penn State.
Yeah, but he knows how to keep those rankings going. He knows how to keep you. Keep your balls tickled in the preseason, thinking Penn State's going to be good and they're going to go back to the Joe Pa days from the 80s.
The way that they crumbled last weekend was really sad to see because I watched that game. I watched the whole thing. Me and Me and my buddy from Pottstown is actually in town this week. We were watching that game last weekend, and yeah, it was just ridiculous to watch them lose that.
They just signed him for 10 years last year. He's making tons of money, and he's not a game day coach. He might be a good recruiter, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, who wants to go? Really to Penn State? I mean, you guys fire him, you might get another, same kind of thing, 8-4. Because you're gonna have to get a guy.
Out, man, they gotta pay him off and send him packages.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Then you're gonna have to go get another guy that could be an up and coming coach. You're gonna have to go to someone that's in Buffalo, Northern Illinois, Bowling Green, or Western Michigan, some of those schools. Still pay him, unproven. I mean, look, you guys sell out because you got the Penn State name. You're paying him a shit ton of money. You guys are ranked because, and the media loves you guys, so they're going to rank you guys always in the top 25, whether you deserve it or not, because they want those first 4 games to be Michigan versus Penn State, the number 5 versus the 10,
right?
Ohio
State.
And then
for the ratings.
I mean, look, they're 6-2 and they're still 15 because they played, the schools that they needed to.
Yeah. All right, I got to go. Well, listen, I'll see you at Bart, buddy.
See you at Bart, man. Thank you.
All right, brother.
I mean, yeah, that's one thing about these, these schools. They just, what are you going to get better?
Right.
I mean, really, you're going to take another chance and maybe go shittier? I mean, look at USF. I hated Jim Leavitt. I thought he was a complete douchebag, but I got to give it up to him. He knew how to recruit. He knew how to coach. Now, maybe he kept us mediocre. Maybe we didn't, he didn't know how to win the big one. He didn't know how to carry the team to, win all those games and keep it going. But guess what? At least we had a winning team.
Yeah. And that's
you had a chance every year. You're going into it and go, man, you know what? We could win the Big East this year.
And that's the thing with college football in particular. I won't say it's as much of a concern with the league, because usually you know what you get year in and year out with the same coaching staff. But like with college football, we had this discussion with Brian like a month ago. The threshold of like, let's wait and see if things can get fixed, things are looking up, to just settling for mediocrity because your coach is plateaued and like this is the best he's going to do. Hindsight's always 20/20 with those things. So yeah, you tell any Bulls fan now, they'd love to have Jim Leavitt's back.
They'd love to have Charlie Strong back. They'd love to have Willie Taggart.
No shit.
Technically, Willie Taggart left on his own, but still.
I mean, any one of those coaches that people were complaining about, they would love to have back because hindsight's always 20/20, and those guys were winning football. But it's like, with Penn State, you're really starting to just kind of see like this is probably the most this staff is going to get you. You know what I mean? Like this is probably what one of their best seasons is going to look like so far.
I could see them like once again, like I think they did a year or two ago. They'll have a 1-loss, 2-loss battle for that Big Ten championship, and then you're like, okay, they're about to turn the corner, and then go back to middle, and then have that little peak.
Right
now, you can tell the bad coaches that have that. They have that one good year, and then they start going down, and then they hit that mediocre, and you're like, okay, mediocre's got to turn the corner, and then they never turn the corner, and that's what could happen at Penn State. So sometimes you just got to say, fuck it, let's just stick it out. I mean, he's coaching, he's 500. We're still in playoff talks in the preseason. People think we're relevant still, and fuck it. And let's get the free agency after this call from unavailable. I guess
is that me, brother?
Yay! How did I guess that one right? Terry, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, brother? Tampa Terry here, top caller to the show, calling into the Lummy Sports Show here. I just wanted to agree with Rhett that it did sound like Decaf was calling in from his bathroom.
Yes.
And then when you called him out on it, he quickly shuffled back into his bedroom because the echo changed.
Dude,
it's more of a waddle.
That's all
brother.
the evidence we need. I mean, the audio speaks for itself. We have the tape. We have the archive. And we also got Tampa Terry, the number one caller of the show, coming in to confirm. Right. I mean, what else do you need? The guy was dropping a dude.
Hey, he did a penguin walk back to the bedroom, as Big Red said. He didn't shuffle. He did the penguin walk.
That shows his dedication to the show and to calling in, brother. Even having to drop a monster crap couldn't stop him from calling in and fulfilling his commitment to the Lummy Sports Show.
That's right. I'm sure there's been a lot of times you've been on hold and you've had to drop a couple of dues. So I mean, that's what makes you the number one caller.
Yeah, either you hold it in or you go, but it's really hard to wipe when you're just on the phone and you're trying to, I don't know. I find it hard to wipe. So, but I wonder if, anyway, I won't go off into that too much. But I have a question for our sports brother that I was wondering, did either of you guys ever cry while watching a sports game?
No, I've never cried watching a sports game. Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I've never cried during a game. I cried probably 10 minutes after the Super Bowl ended, but that's because I was just so fucking stoned, Terry, and I was so emotional watching the team that I rooted for 20 years finally win a Super Bowl. But aside from that, I've never had any sports make me cry.
I get tingles.
That's that sounds like a beautiful moment after the Super Bowl, brother. But Lummy, I'm surprised you never cried at a sports game. I mean, just a few weeks ago, I heard you crying on the radio about sumo, brother.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I cry about, personal things. I have nothing to do, obviously, anything going on in the sports. Maybe if I was an offensive lineman or, someone playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and it was my fault for losing, then I would, kind of bitch down and start crying. But I get tingles. I get tingles when the national anthem goes on, every sports game I go to. It makes me have like a nice little tingle in my feeling, just thinking about all the men and women that died. And other than that, no, I don't cry if they lose. I get upset sometimes, but never cry. I mean, have you ever cried at a CFL game?
Well, we don't. Up here in Canada, we barely, even Canadians don't watch the CFL, brother. We don't watch that garbage. We watch the NFL like you guys. But
okay.
Were you a big Warren Sapp fan, brother?
Yeah, until I found out he was a POS, a piece of shit.
What if Warren Sapp was if Warren Sapp got in your face one day and was like, what kind of man does blah blah blah, and would you cry if Warren Sapp was trying to step to you?
No, he was one of my favorite players. Now, I mean, Mike Allstott. Maybe if he came up and called me a big pussy.
Yeah,
but
that'd make me upset too, because I've never heard Mike Allstott be mean to anybody on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, Warren Sapp, he can be mean to a fucking 2-year-old kid. So I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, well, that's Warren Sapp. Fuck it, who fucking cares? If Donald Trump maybe comes up and says that too, I'd be crying.
Oh yeah, President Trump. How's your physical fitness these days, Lummy? What if Warren Sapp, got a bad ankle injury in front of you? Would you be able to pick him up and carry him to safety?
Fuck no, I'd blow my fucking back out, and I'd leave him probably on the side too, and just walk off. My physical fitness is kind of like decap right now, hunchback, just fucking waddling around. I'm not in great shape like you, Terry. I mean, I've heard from multiple sources you're a specimen of a man. You're thick, you're rugged. You're good looking. Well, you fucking do a lot of push-ups, even though you say you get out of breath walking upstairs. I mean, that's because you live on the 51st floor in a penthouse high in Nova Scotia. Keeping it real.
Well, I'm a former backyard wrestler up here. I had a long backyard wrestling career and Little League sports as well. I played Little League sports my entire life. And, I guess that's probably all my questions I have for you today, Lummitz.
You know what, Temperature? Thank you so much. And next week, maybe Brian will be back, and you can take him on and see what happens.
Terry, let me ask you one more question before you go, brother. You ever had a sporting moment or event make you cry in your life?
Not really, but there were a few beautiful moments. There was one where Little League baseball, I caught a line drive baseball. There was a soccer goal I scored in the Little League soccer penalty kick that was real good. The only thing I'll say is there was a couple times with the Toronto Blue Jays back when they were good. They had some good stuff going on.
Joe Carter. So you cried for Joe Carter?
Yeah, a little bit for Joe Carter, and they're also that late 90s New York Yankees dynasty. I was a big fan of them. When I was becoming a big baseball fan back then, I was a big fan of that team, and I didn't really cry because of that, because they just spent more money than any other team and assembled this great team and beat everyone. But that was a lot of fun watching that. That was one of my favorite sporting moments.
And
there.
You know what? I give it up to John Olerud for saving John Kruk's life. So you know what? You guys in Canada are great people. John Olerud, he saved his life. John Kruk.
Oh yeah, that's right, John Olerud.
Yeah, he missed the baseball and had the ball hit John Kruk in the nuts. John Kruk went and found out he had testicular cancer. Saved his life. Got one testicle removed.
Yeah, that was huge. And actually, a sporting moment that made me that always stands out in my memory. I didn't necessarily cry during it, but when Randy Johnson threw that 100-mile-an-hour fastball and smashed that seagull into a million pieces, brother. It was probably a quick, painless death, but that was, imagine you're just a bird flying around. Your species has been flying around this earth since the dinosaurs, and you're flying around Arizona one day, and baseball just smashes you out of nowhere, and now you're fucked.
Yep. Thank you, Tampa Terry. You're the man. We always appreciate your call. You're number one caller on the sports show now. Thank you so much.
God bless, brother.
God bless.
See you, Terry.
We didn't talk about the free agency, though.
Yeah, but I can think of a moment that may have gotten me a little more emotional than I'd like to admit, though. Wasn't a certain sporting event I was watching. It was actually when I played in high school. It was it was the championship game. We were down 3 touchdowns at halftime. My coach had literally quit, and I couldn't allow it. So I came into the game and I scored 4 touchdowns. We ended up winning. We were playing Andrew Johnson High School.
Wow, that's amazing.
I got 4 touchdowns. I think the 4th one was probably the best. I faked a guy out, sprinted 75 yards up the field and into the end zone. We won the game. So yeah, me and my teammates, we had a good cry.
Red Bundy
afterward.
Red Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember Al Bundy coach is quitting, but fuck it, right? That's a great story.
Yeah.
I never would expect that you running your 5.6 40 would be able to do that against a big 5A 6A school.
What it comes down to is I used to be built different.
Oh, okay. Well, until we see pictures, we'll just we'll call you decap. Now, are you disappointed, since we're wrapping it up here, are you disappointed the Bucks did not make any moves?
Yes and no.
In the trade market?
Yes and no. I mean, it's one of those things where you got to be realistic and look at, like, what were they going to do. But I do think they could have tried to mortgage some of these picks for a defensive player. I'm not saying a Bradley Chubb because that guy's fetching a first-round pick tag or first-round price tag, and I don't think he was quite worth that much. But, like, I think they could have made a move on maybe some more presence as a pass rusher. There were a couple of guys floating around still available. Even if you don't fucking trade for them, like, there's a couple of free agents that are still out there. Yeah. I mean, realistically,
I'm still going to keep saying it. So,
the Bucks have echoed since week 1 that, like, we have our guys. We're waiting on them to get healthy. We trust our guys, and they feel like they can get it done with those guys, but it doesn't matter what guys you have on the team. I feel like I don't know. I'm very torn on it because, like you and I have talked about so many times off the air, like, I'm so ridiculously disappointed with the Bucks this year because of the talent level that they have. And when you look at this roster and you look at why they're 3-5, there isn't exactly a clear reason as to why they're 3-5. Even with a makeshift offensive line, they have been good enough to move the ball on the offensive side of the ball. The run game has been fucking garbage, but I don't think we need to get a running back to come in here and mix things up.
So you don't think possibly with Barkley Barkley's out, right? Who's out? Not Barkley.
For the Bucks?
Gio
Bernard.
Gino Bernard.
He's
I'm
on,
talking about the defensive ends. We got Hicks.
Shaq Barrett's out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So we've got Anthony Nelson, Carl Nassib, and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, a couple of other depth pieces.
You don't think that they could have possibly traded maybe a 3rd rounder to the Eagles for Robert Quinn?
I think 100% they could have traded a 3rd rounder to the Eagles for Robert Quinn. That's what I'm saying. Is like I don't think the guys who were fetching 1st and 2nd round price tags, were an option for Tampa Bay.
But the 4th and 5th rounders.
There is no fucking reason that for a 4th round pick, Robert Quinn, who got damn near 20 sacks a couple of years ago, can go to a team that's 7-0. Like, that's inexcusable.
For just a 4th rounder.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. I do think that there is a lot more that they could have done.
I can see why they probably didn't go after an offensive line help, because offensive line is a little difficult.
Right, and
like
there's not going to be like people don't seem to understand this when they talk about especially players in the NFL, but offensive and defensive linemen in the NFL. Those guys are a different breed, and they don't fucking grow on trees. Right? There isn't a Tristan Wirfs sitting out there waiting to be signed. There isn't even a Donovan Smith sitting out there waiting to be signed, because if there was, he'd be on a roster, he'd be one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
So when people were talking about Luke Gedeke and replacing him, they're like, oh, we'll just sign somebody. Well, who the fuck do you want him to sign? Like, look at the list of free agents and get back to me and tell me why those guys are not on a team right now.
Exactly.
I think making the change at left guard to go to Nick Leverett is going to end up helping this team in the long run, because he was graded really high Thursday night against the Ravens. I think he was the second highest graded offensive player. So his presence was felt. But with those depth guys, longevity starts to expose you, right? So like Nickel Everett looked really good. He looked like a breath of fresh air at the left guard position. But I guarantee you 4, 5, 6 weeks from now, people are not going to be saying the same thing they're saying about him right now. And unfortunately, with Luke Gedeke, he's a rookie. You know, he's trying to fill in for, Ali Marpet. Like, you're not going to replace an Ali Marpet.
No.
When that's the standard you're used to, anybody is going to look like a bum filling in at the left guard spot. And Gedeke has looked like a bum this year, but, like, the odds were stacked against him. I'm not necessarily angry with just Luke Gedeke. I'm angry at this coaching staff for running the ball to the left side when you don't have a Ryan Jensen, when you don't have a Luke Gedeke, and when you've got Donovan Smith who's been fighting injury since the first week of the year. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me in that department, but like, hopefully Nickel Everett can be the juice they need on the offensive line. It's just when people say, oh, just go sign this guy, just sign this one because anyone's going to be better than what you have. That's not always true because there aren't any unemployed offensive linemen sitting around who deserve to have a job right now.
Yeah, they can't just jump in. My 3 before we go, the
I
three
forgot we were doing
surprising.
that. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, no, it's fine. This is the show. We don't have to, follow Brian's lead. The top 3 surprising trades I think is Chase Claypool going for a second rounder. I think I kind of thought the Steelers were sold on. I know they're struggling this year. TJ Hawkinson and Robert Quinn.
I thought TJ Hawkinson was the most surprising just because he went within the division.
Yeah.
Like the idea of Detroit loading up because they got what? They got a second round for next year and then a third round for the year after.
Yeah, exactly.
So the idea of the Lions being a team that's loading up on picks right now, sitting at what, 1-6, 2-6.
But then you got the Bears who are trading away, some of their defensive players, and their defense has actually kind of been one of the teams.
Right.
Their defense has kind of held up their offense struggling, and then
I think they just wanted to dodge the Roquan Smith bullet. I think they knew that was going to be an issue in the offseason, and they're like, you know what? Let's just wash our fucking hands with it.
Robert Quinn, and then you get Chase Claypool. So, but I guess maybe they're like, hey, we'll give her a second rounder. We'll get a second rounder from the Ravens. We'll get a fourth rounder next year. Maybe that in their head, that's it's better. And I guess they got AJ Klein from the Ravens, but
sure,
sure, yeah, it is what it is. But you know what, Rat? Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad I
problem.
I'm glad I didn't completely wreck the show.
Well, thank you for pulling it up with your stats. I
know.
You struggled a little bit.
Most of those stats were wrong. Most of the information I gave on the show today was not correct. But
listen, you pulled it up here in this last segment, so I really appreciate it.
All thanks to our buddy Decap. I couldn't have done it without him.
I couldn't have done it without him either. And I wish I would have talked to him about some crypto because crypto's currently just stuck at its middle.
He told us on the big show that he got out.
Oh yeah, that's
true. He sold all this stuff.
He sold all of it. So crypto talk is crypto. I'm just holding it. And hopefully it doesn't just completely go to shit. So we are live tomorrow, 6 a.m. twitch.tv/the Bubba Army. Don't forget all your Bubba Army merch, Bubba Army store, Bubba Army shop.com. And we will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you, Rhett. And have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Bucks are beating the Rams this weekend.
That's a lock.